Alright guys, welcome back to another Into the Infinityverse, where I talk about stuff for the Infinityverse, the shared fanfiction universe that my friend Jason Voorhees 2011 and I work on together. But this time, and I've done a video on this before, this time it's not so much what's in the Infinityverse, it's more of what isn't in the Infinityverse, if you understand my meaning. Basically, this video is going to be more talking about, like, what isn't canon. There's a lot of... You may be shocked, because there is a lot of stuff that is canon in the main Earth, which is Earth Prime, which we call Earth Prime, and there isn't... and what isn't on that Earth is in the multiverse. Like, it's all just multiverse stuff. However, there are things that are just not canon in any capacity. Well, they are of canon, but not in the way you think, and they are referenced as something else. Or they're just not canon completely. So, let's get started with talking about some of the stuff in here. So, starting off, Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z has not nor ever will be canon in the Infinityverse. It will be referenced as like an anime and manga. In fact, it has been in a few jokes here and there we've done. But yeah, Dragon Ball Z is not going to be referenced. It's not multiverse. It's not main Earth. None of that. It's just an anime in that universe. Reason being is because, yeah, we don't need Goku Ex Machina to save all of our problems. And plus, Sailor Moon is pretty powerful enough. I think a lot of people sleep on how almost godlike Sailor Moon is. But yeah, Goku, all of Dragon Ball Z, none of that is canon. That was kind of one of the first things we kind of established. We were talking about building the Infinityverse. Jason and I were like, yeah, Dragon Ball Z is not going to be here. Not like, you know, it's, oh, fuck Dragon Ball Z. It's more like, yeah, the characters are so OP that it makes the rest of the Infinityverse, like, kind of pointless if they're here. So it would just be like, yeah, why would we have them here if they're just gonna, why would we have them here if they're just going to, if they're just going to stand around and be like, oh, Goku's really powerful, right? Like, oh, cool, we can just or we can just be like, oh, we're gonna go get Goku real quick and, save the Earth. Like, that's kind of the train of thought, is that why would we have Goku at all? I mean, why would we have any other characters when we could just Goku Ex Machina our way out of these situations? So yeah, Dragon Ball Z will just be referenced as an anime and things like that. Also, regarding Bleach, One Piece, and Naruto. Not because they're powerful, it's just that neither Jason or I are major fans of those animes, so they'll just be referenced as anime and manga as well, and that's what they'll be. So yeah, so the major shonen jump shows are not canon, I know, in any capacity. So yeah, also Bleach, Naruto, and One Piece also out. As for others, another major one, and this was one I was kind of like, Jason and I actually did talk about this. We did give it a lot of thought, but eventually we were like, yeah, I don't think it's gonna cut as a in part of this canon, and that is Doctor Who. Doctor Who was another, like, we do have Star Trek in here, and that is canon in the multiverse of the Infinityverse. But the thing of it is that Doctor Who, dealing with time travel and, all of the alterations in time and all of that, it's also the same thing of why it kind of goes back to the whole thing with Goku, is that it's like, it'd just be, Dr. Ex Machina figuring it all out. Plus, we have a lot of other characters that can easily, fulfill the Doctor's do the same thing the Doctor can do, and probably do it as good. We have characters like Washu. We have characters like, Washu's our, smartest character in our universe. We have Washu. We have so many other characters in here, and it's kind of like, yeah, they could just do what we could have with the Doctor. The only thing that I do feel bad that we won't have is, I would have liked to have played with like the Daleks or the Cybermen in this universe, but it wasn't going to be like, oh, we can use certain elements. It was like, no, they're so intrinsically tied to Doctor Who, it would be pointless. So Doctor Who will just be referenced as like a TV show in here. And plus, we have enough time-traveling characters as it is. In fact, real quick, oh god, the lighting is so... the lighting, that's what I get for having the window, living right next to the window. The big thing in here is that lost my train of thought. There's so many time travel characters already, it would just be kind of pointless to have the Doctor and the Time Lords at this point. You got Rednet, you've got the Time Agency, you've got all of that, and we already kind of have an explanation as to, and even Clockwork from Danny Phantom. So it's kind of like we don't really need the Doctor anymore. And we also have an explanation as to why there's so many different timeline things going on, and we do actually reference Doctor Who, is that people assume the time is like a line of like time of cause and effect, when really it's a big bowl of wibbly wobbly timey-wimey stuff. And in order to keep all the timelines, secure and whatnot, is that there's time agencies and time guardians that are overseeing all these like all these trying to keep the timelines secure and keep it on the set timeline. Even though the future is always changing, there's always like these time branches that are like, that's interesting. So there are branches in time and they don't get trimmed. Like, this isn't like the TVA. Anyway, I'm going off topic. Maybe I'll do an Into the Infinityverse talking about time travel more in depth in the future. Anyway, getting back on topic. As most of you guys already know, Marvel and DC and other comic book characters from Image, Dark Horse, all of that, they're all non-canon. There is a caveat that if the comic book is, the characters are based on comics and they're far enough removed from their comic book counterpart, they're allowed in. That's why Big Hero 6 is a part of it. It's more of the Disney version of Big Hero 6, and they're so drastically different from the comic book that it was like, okay, they can go in. We're kind of thinking about Inayu, Child of Wonder. If it's so far away from the Dark Horse comic it's based off of, we might bring it into the Infinityverse, but we'll have to wait and see. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, I don't know. I know some people have asked, is Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur in here, but we might have to say no to that one because it is very tied to the comics, so we're probably going to have to say no on that one. But Big Hero 6, and I know Ninja Turtles, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I know what you're already thinking, but yeah, the Ninja Turtles are based off of comics. But they are so far away from they're so far intrinsically tied to cartoons that the comics are a lot different. They're so, especially since we're using the 2012 version, and they're so drastically different from that comic book version that that it works. However, that's not to say we may bring in elements of the IDW comics in the future, just saying, and make it into that version. Anyway, so that's another thing that is non-canon or comic books. So you're not going to see like Superman or Spider-Man, or even like Hellboy or the Goon or stuff like that. Yeah. As for other non-canon stuff, Gundam, we thought about it and it was like, Gundam's just too big as a story, and yeah. So Gundam is out. Warhammer 40k. Warhammer 40k is out. It's just, it's too big and too massive to really, and also it's kind of like there's things in there that just would not work in like a multiverse form. So we're just gonna I did think, like, Jason and I did kind of think about, like, I actually did want to, let me rephrase that. I actually wanted to approach Jason and see if we could bring Warhammer into the Infinityverse, but then I thought against it because I gave it a little more thought and was like, no, it's way too expansive, and also there are things in here that make me just go, maybe not. But yeah, So it'll just be referred to as a tabletop game for the most part. So those are the really major ones that aren't canon to the Infinityverse. As for other stuff, for some reason people have asked about the Loud House. No, that's not canon because it's not really a superhero show, is it? Probably more of a cartoon than anything else. Yeah. So there you go, guys. Those are just a few things that are not canon in the Infinityverse. And if you're curious, let me know in the comments below if you want to know if there's anything in canon and what is and isn't canon. Because there was a lot of stuff that I didn't mention. I just didn't want to make this video so goddamn long. But anyway, yeah, just comment below, let me know. And once again, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.